disgusting. Yeah, straight up stick on me, I shoot you, beat me, but. Top 10 rudest countries. According to Rudest. Let's throw in some guesses before we start in the vid. France. They don't like Americans, I heard. UK. Think it's the same thing. China, maybe? Yeah. North Korea. Don't come for me. We just know. Y'all definitely know like Americans, you know what I'm saying? Those are good guesses. Some tell me to say parts of Africa, but I don't know for sure. South America, I think Brazil is too, yeah. But that's them good guesses for now.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to World According to Briggs and an international video. Today we're looking at countries where tourists say the locals are rude. I read a blog about this subject where a guy said every time he went to Germany, he ran across nothing but rude and unfriendly people.
Oh, Germany,
he listed
yeah.
a few other countries he felt were almost as bad as Germany, but he said Germany was the worst. So that got me thinking, and I ran a poll where I listed 40 of the most visited countries and asked travelers to pick the 3 countries they felt the locals were the most rude. I also listed the top 15 on a few different polls on the community section of this channel, and this is what we found. Number 10, the Greeks. Greece is one of the oldest countries still going. They offer tourists ancient ruins, great islands, amazing beaches, gyros, and a steady helping of FU go back where you came from. Around 30 million people visit Greece every single year. The government and shop owners love that. The locals aren't always on board with it. They have a reputation of being rude. I don't think it's always as rude as people
That water look nice. That's like the... you know what? It looks nice, but it's kind of scary at the same time. It's like it kind of looks like when you know how like when you paint in middle school or grade school as a kid, they give you like that cheap paint. You kind of rub the brush on. You know, it's that water paint. It's that washable. They call it washable paint. You know what I'm talking about. When you dip it in, but after you done, when you put it in the water, they kind of try to rinse it off. But you do that so many times with that same color, the water go dark. So it's like once you get in the water, it changes up. You know, it gets dark instant. It like that water is like soon you get in, you're not seeing shit. You already in the sunlight zone. You know, twilight zone. That's what I meant to say.
But Greek, a lot like here in the United
States. Hey, y'all Euro's fine. I'm not gonna lie. And besides, I will go there one day just because it's nice historical statues. You know what I'm saying? Giannis from there. Shout out Giannis.
United States, Greece, they have a tendency to talk a lot with their arms and a little too close for American and, let's say, British standards. You know, they get a little too close when they're talking. And I think a lot of Westerners or people from North America kind of view this as them being rude. Now, granted, like all countries, they have some rude people that are just rude. But I think a lot of their reputation comes from that. 37% of the people surveyed had Greece listed as one of the 3 rudest countries. Number 9, the Turkish. Yeah, Turkey's got kind of a reputation for having rude residents. Like Greece, they have a lot of history going on here. Istanbul, which used to be Constantinople, played a big part in the Crusades. This is where a lot of the European crusaders passed through to go to the Middle East and cause all kinds of problems. I mean, Constantinople served as an imperial capital for almost 16 centuries. All the way back to the Romans, the Byzantines, the Ottomans, they all had this place as their capital. Turkey offers a lot more outside of Istanbul. They've got a lot of history here, a lot of great things to see. Turkey sees around...
That's the thing with a lot of them foreign countries too, though. Like, they be having a lot of people just like congested in one area and shit.
50 million visitors a year. Actually, in 2019, for the pandemic, they hit 52 million. So they see a lot of people going through here, and not everyone's on board with how cool they are there. 41% of the respondents had Turkey as one of their 3 countries with the rudest locals.
Every dream deserves a chance.
Hey, we can't skip. How y'all doing today? Hey, drop y'all. Y'all better drop y'all rude countries, man. I put in some good guesses. And here's why. Hopefully we can skip this next one. Otherwise,
when the stakes are high at work, your tone matters. Grammarly's advanced tone suggestions can help.
Number 8, Italians. I mean, how can these
Italians,
people be so
okay.
rude? They got pasta, pizza. They
I
got
mean,
all
American kind of ruins y'all like y'all top styles of cooking. I understand what
the
y'all
good
be
food
so
here.
upset.
In my opinion, Italian food ranks right behind Mexican food. Yeah, that's just me. Maybe if I grew up in Europe, I'd feel the opposite about that. But Mexican food, then Italian food. That's how I see it. Italy has some
What's
of the most
your favorite
amazing
food?
cities to
Ooh,
see.
that's a
Think
good
about
question.
Rome, Milan, Venice, Florence, San Marino, which actually
Like this water right here, dirty. You know what I'm saying? This some dirty water, but this like the only. Italy is like the only place where it got dirty water, but it's like acceptable. You know what I'm saying? If that makes it like to be in the, you get it.
isn't part of Italy, it's its own country. Yeah, most people don't know that Italy has a small country inside of Italy. It is San Marino, and it is east of
Yeah,
Florence
this is
and
where
south of...
I would want to go right here. You go with your lady. Y'all let the man pull y'all around. He might sing y'all some song. I don't know if that's what he. I know he like pushed the boat, but I don't know if he's doing the singing part.
Venice.
Probably
Italy
extra little
sees
feet.
over 90 million tourists every single year, at least in the last 10 years. That's about what they see, over 90 million. That dropped down considerably during the pandemic years, but in normal times, they see about 90 million people. And a good percentage of those people apparently think the Italians are rude. Italians actually have a reputation for being rude. I mean, they didn't invent the middle finger, the Greeks did, but the Italians, they sort of perfected it. In Milan, they actually have a statue of the middle finger pointing at the Italian stock exchange. Not even kidding.
What?
Here it is. For a country that invented banks,
Bro,
they really
what
don't like
the-
bankers too much. 41% of the people listed Italians in their top 3 rudest locals. Number 7, the Spanish. This one caught me by surprise. I know quite a few Spanish people. They've never been anything but friendly and nice. But apparently,
lot of
if you're
them
a
do be
tourist
friendly,
in their
but
homeland,
there's some
they're
more-
not too keen about it. I was reading one
It's
travel
all
blogger,
with-
and he said that it's mostly the younger kids, younger people, I should say, the 30 to 20 to their teens. They're the people that don't like a lot of tourists. The older people sort of like it, or at least they like the money that's being brought in from the tourists. I find this one a little strange. I don't know if it's accurate, from my experience, I should say. But apparently, if you go by the survey and the polls, the Spanish people aren't too keen on people coming to Spain. Spain sees about 70 million visitors a year, and 45% of the people surveyed had Spain as one of their 3 countries with the rudest locals. Number 6, the Chinese. Now,
I
couldn't
told
tell you
y'all.
personally-
Hey, that's one of my I told Chinese they don't like Americans either on the low. Not all of them, but you know what I'm saying? Like a good amount of them. What
whether
I'm
this is correct or not, I'm going by
That's
the
what I
survey on
heard.
this
That's
one.
what I heard.
I've never been to China. I know some Chinese people, not very well, but the survey says that they're pretty rude to locals. I did a little reading, and apparently you go into the rural areas, and they really like you. If you get in the cities and stuff, they're kind of rude and abrupt to foreigners. But the locals in the rural areas, they're almost happy to have you. 46% of the people surveyed had China.
Hey man, shout out China, man. I still want to go. I like to go to the Great Wall of China and take the long walk. Because if I go on the walk, which I will, I'm taking the whole walk there. I heard it's long as shit, but hey, it's worth it. It's gonna be worth it. Trust
It's one of the 3 countries with the rudest locals.
I heard. Well, look, man. I'm not saying in general, right? It's like New York City, and if it's not New York City, it's Tokyo. If it's not Tokyo, Dubai. Anyway, the point is, Chinese people. I'm not saying all of them don't like American, but I heard you go to China, they don't like Americans too, though. China in general don't like America, like the country,
5. Americans. Yes, the
Americans.
United States
Wow,
is
okay.
number 5. I know a lot of people from other countries probably just gasp. How could they be number 5? Shouldn't they be number 1? No, we're really not that rude when you're coming here to be tourists. I mean, if you end up in the wrong place, like New Jersey, you'll probably think differently of us. But for the most part, in most of the country, people are pretty decent in the tourist areas. Not just New Jersey. You might want to add Hawaii onto that. Hawaii's not too keen even about other Americans coming to that state. Now, if you consider gun violence rude, yeah, we're hella rude then. Because we got a lot of that here in the United States, in case you don't know, and you're from another country. That's like
Not a
my
good
advice
thing.
to
Nothing to be
anyone
proud of.
coming to the United States from another country. Make sure you know where the dangerous neighborhoods are. I mean, any neighborhood has the potential to be dangerous, but we have some that if you don't know about them, could be a serious mistake. So keep that in mind. You should know little things like, go see St. Louis. The arch is neat and all that's really cool. Don't go see East St. Louis. Don't make that mistake. Go see Downtown Detroit. Don't go outside of downtown Detroit and you'll be fine. Go visit Chicago. Just don't go too far south from what they call the Loop, which is the downtown area of Chicago. Things like that. 51% of the people surveyed had the United States as one of their 3 countries with the rudest locals. Number 4, Russians. Russia's another country that has people that I think sort of get a bad rap. Because it's their culture and the way they do things, it doesn't jive with a lot of, especially Western.
Russia, oh! I know I just called him today. I was thinking about something, but when he said, I did hear him say it. Damn, Russia. Damn it. Why the? I didn't say that, because Russia, them don't like Americans at all. In general. Some of them do, but a lot of them don't. How did I not get that one?
Countries and their citizens. Russians are very to the point and very blunt about everything. There's no like gray areas with them most of the time. And they don't sugarcoat much when they're talking to you. So a lot of people might think that's rude. The people that I know that have visited Russia, they're kind of 50-50 on it. Some say it was great. Some people say they were kind of rude and mean to them. So you don't know. But in the survey, 53% of the respondents had Russia as one of their top 3.
Bro, this is getting to, it's pissing me off deep down inside, because dude, this one was so fucking obvious. This one was so obvious. This probably was more obvious than China. And I still didn't say it. It didn't even click in my, I forgot all about Russia. But I almost
3 countries with the rudest locals. Number 3, Germans. Yeah, Germans are rude and everybody knows it. They can't help it. They got a little that Russian thing going too, where there's no sugarcoating anything. It's very blunt, very to the point, very matter.
Hold on now. Look, man. Maybe I should go be one of them. They very strict to the point, very blunt, no sugarcoating. Oh, I love it. I love this. This is what I love. Far as that. There's no sugarcoating. Straight to the point, blunt. Ooh, that's my type of energy. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to sugarcoat nothing. It is what it is.
Fact. And like I said in the Russian part, that Westerners find that a little abrasive sometimes. My experience with Germans has never been good. The ones that I know, the ones that I've talked to online, they're always seem to be rude.
Hold on, bro. I know I'm not the only one who's seeing that,
The ones that I know, the ones that I've talked
this man
to online.
Bent over like you are a grown man, bro. Why are you tooted up like that, bro? Y'all thought I wasn't gonna catch that? Bro, why is you tooted up?
They're always seem to be rude. It's like their thing. I don't know what it is. One thing I've always heard over and over, and I kind of got that vibe too, they always get that thing where they think they're better than everyone else. And that's an opinion by a lot of people, not like a fact. There's no arrogance metric, you know? Germany normal year sees about 40 million tourists, and 61%.
I heard, ain't they kind of like dealt with the, the situation with like, the dude who killed a lot of I mean, yeah, Jewish, but what okay, Jewish turn somewhere in that loop. Y'all know what I'm talking about, but yeah, I if that play a role, I could see why. You know what I'm saying? But they said if they think they better than everybody, I think people who think they better than everybody. I'm not trying to throw elbows, jab. No, I'm not gonna say it. Jays. That's all. Sometimes that's what I feel like. I don't know.
Germany as one of their 3 countries that they felt had the rudest locals. Number 2, the British. Now this is amazing because of all the people surveyed.
Well, I say UK.
The number 1 country of origin of people that said the British were the rudest were the British. Yeah, the UK says British are the absolute rudest people in other countries. Like these people know how they are and they just own it. I've always heard the phrase ugly Americans when they're talking about Americans going to other countries and being tourists and how we're just rude and stupid and everything else like that. But apparently it's the British are even worse than us. 63% of the people surveyed had the United Kingdom in their top 3 for rudest locals. All right, before we get to number 1, don't forget.
Number 1, y'all. Try put your stuff in the chat, man. We got number 1. Number 1, North Korea. Brazil, maybe.
At the end of this video, we have these little things where the algorithm suggests other of my videos that you should watch. Why don't you click on one and see if the algorithm's correct? All right, on to number one. And number one, the French. The French have a legendary reputation for being rude. There have been jokes about how rude the French are since forever. Everybody knows it. It's in jokes. They do things about how rude the French are in movies. There was a movie with Dudley Moore years ago where he played an ad executive who had like a breakdown and started telling the truth, and he created an ad that everyone loved. It showed an Italian woman cooking some pasta and said, "Come to Italy, we're nice. We're not like the French." And it showed a guy with a beret flipping the camera off. So that kind of gives you an idea. Now, don't take that as an opening because I made a reference to a movie that shows how something's a stereotype. For some reason, whenever I mention a movie, that's like someone's defense. Oh, he's basing his opinion off a movie. No, that's called an antidote. My opinion is just like the rest of the world's opinion on the French. They're frickin' rude. They got some good wine, though. You gotta love their wine. In 2018, France saw 89 million tourists. Now, their target for 2020 was 100 million, but the pandemic kind of set that sideways. We'll see if they get their 100 million here in the next couple of years now that we're getting out of the pandemic. 71% of the people surveyed had France in their top 3 countries with the rudest residents.
No, I did say France. I did say France. Yeah. Yo, keep hating, but I'm going to keep being right. I'm going to keep being right. Because I did say France earlier. Remember that, guys? See, I did say that. I was right. Ha 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 ha.